In our previous video, we have seen how we could take a graph as input. What we did back then was insert the number of nodes and number of edges, and then we would take two endpoints of an edge and then construct an edge. Now let's say you are given 20 edges. Therefore, you'll have to insert 20 inputs. Now honestly, that's a painful task. That's where file comes handy. We can use files to take inputs. We'll just store our inputs inside the file, and then the program will automatically take inputs from that file. But if you already know how to take input from a file, then you can skip ahead to the next video. Now to demonstrate this, let's say I've got two variables. I've got a variable int x. Let's say I've got a variable int x and another variable int y. Now I'll take input those variables as input. So I'll just say scanf %d and %x and %y, and I'll just print out the values of those variables. So I'll just say %d and x and y. Now if I just run it, and let's say I'll give 1 and 5 as input, then on the console you can say the output is 1 and 5. So 1 is stored inside x and 5 is stored inside y. But the thing is that we have given input manually. I just want to do the same thing using a file. Now to do that, we'll have to perform the following steps. Now on the right hand side, this is test.cpp. So this is the file I'm currently working with. I have written all of my codes in this file. Now I'll have to go to the folder where test.cpp file is stored. Now on the left hand side of my screen, as you can see, this is the directory where test.cpp file is stored. Now inside this directory where the file I'm working with lies, so I'll just go to that directory and I'll just create a new text document in this folder. So I'll just right click and I'll go to new and create a new text document, and I'll just name this file as input. Now the name of the file shown here is just input without the extension. The actual name of this file should be input.txt including the extension. Now in your computer, if it already shows input.txt, then you do not need to follow the next step. What I'll do, I'll just go to the view and I'll just check this file name extension. If I check it, then you can see the name has changed to input.txt. Or you can also do another thing. You can also just go to the view, and from the view you can just select the option, go to view, and then uncheck hide extensions for known files. Now that's going to do the same thing as well. Now later you need to just apply the changes. So that's all. Now it's showing us the full name of the file including the .txt extension. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is write the values of x and y inside the input.txt file. So I'll just write 3 and 4. So those are the values of x and y respectively. Now all I want for 3 is to be assigned as the value of x and 5 to be assigned as the value of y. So basically scanf is going to fetch values of x and y from the file that we have just created, and for that reason we'll have to use a function. We'll have to call a function, and the name of the function is freeopen. Now this function takes the name of the file as its first parameter, and the name of the file should contain the extension as well. So in this case we'll just copy the whole name input.txt and paste it in here. Now the second parameter is which mode I want this file to open in. I want to read from this file, so I'll just write R, and the last parameter that I'm going to give is stdin for reading file. Now if I run this program, as output you can see the output is 3 and 5. And why is it printing 3 and 5? Because we are printing the value of x and y. So let me just write it in this way, x colon and then y colon. Now if I run it once again, it says value of x is 3 and value of y is 5. And if we open the input file, we can see that we have given exactly these values 3 and 5. Now how it works is, whenever I've written scanf %d, whenever I'm going to scan the value of x, then it goes into the file and grabs the first value. Now when we scan for the next value, when we scan for the value of y, it goes to the file and it takes the value 5. Because 3 is already read, so it doesn't return 3 anyway, so it returns 5 as the value of y, and that's how we can take input from a file. Now this is a really easy way of taking input without writing it time and time again. So basically we are going to use the same strategy in our next videos. And just let me do one thing. I'll just copy the whole graph into the file, and here I'll just put all the codes from the previous video where we actually took graph as input. And in the input file, as you can see, I've already given all the inputs. Now this code takes graph as input and prints out the adjacency matrix as output, but this time we're going to take input from this file, from this file. So I'll just use the freeopen function. I'll just copy the whole name of this file, and I'll just say freeopen, then name of the file, which is input.txt, including the extension. Then I'll just say r and stdin. Now before I run it, I'll just do one thing. I'll just remove these two printf lines. So I'll just remove this line and this line, and then I can run it. If I run it, so as you can see, this is the adjacency matrix and it is printing all the values correctly. So that's how we take input from a file. Now hopefully you have understood everything that I have said. Now if you have got any queries, feel free to put those in the comment section below.